Warning, the following video may contain spoilers for Smackdown Live. If you have not seen Smackdown Live, please turn away now. This is your final warning. I'm not kidding, guys. Turn back now and come back later. Enjoy the video. What's going on, everybody? My name is Brandon Dudechair Craven, and welcome to yet another edition of my top 5 favorite moments from Smackdown Live. This time is for August 17th, 2016. Now, before we get going, I want to mention, stay tuned at the end of this video. I'm going to talk a few minutes about some of the new gameplay video that IGN.com has released on WWE 2k17. They released video footage of the backstage brawls, also ladder matches. So those are some really cool videos. If you want to see the videos themselves, go to my WWE 2k17 shared video playlist. I've got those listed, and they're very cool videos. I can't wait for this game. Anyways, let's get to this week's top 5 favorite moments from Smackdown Live. Let's go! Number 5 this week. Heath Slater was absolute comedy gold this week. He had a match with Randy Orton to try to get another contract. Anyway, at the end of that match, you saw him in the locker room, and he was totally dazed and confused because basically Orton threw him a beating. And basically what happened is that they offered him a contract because he technically won the match against Orton because Orton got disqualified. So they were going to offer him a contract. I don't know if they actually offered it to him. I know he tried to sign it, but he was so confused and so out of it that I don't think he really did sign it, but he thought he did. Anyways, Heath Slater was comedy gold. I cannot wait to see what happens after SummerSlam next week on SmackDown. Number 4 this week. Is this the official split of the Wyatt family? During during Roman's match with Dean Ambrose, he lost, and basically Bray Wyatt turned his back on him, was holding his mask, put it on his rocking chair, and then walked away. So it's going to be interesting come next week on SmackDown Live, or even at SummerSlam, if the Wyatt family are actually done. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they go that route yet again. Number 3 this week. Randy Orton with the German suplexes. Suplexes everywhere. He was in his own suplex city. You think he's ready for Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam? We're going to find out come SummerSlam this Sunday, starting at 6 o'clock. Number 2 this week, coming up just short of the number 1 spot this week, John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio. Great match, a lot of action. They kept setting up AJ versus John Cena during the match because AJ was out of commentary. Then at the end of the match, which John Cena won, AJ hit the phenomenal forearm on him and cut a very good promo setting up their match at SummerSlam. So overall, it was a great promo. It was a great match. Not enough to be number 1. But my number 1 pick for this week, Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler with their opening promo on Miz TV, and the kick heard around the world. Great promo by Dolph Ziggler. I'm telling you, he is one, until recently, he has been one of the most underused talents on the WWE roster. Cannot wait for their match at SummerSlam. I mean, on the SmackDown side and on the Raw side, you've got 2 top-notch main event talent, main event matches with top-tier talent coming up this Sunday at SummerSlam. Cannot wait for that to come up. Let's look at some honorable mentions this week. Honorable mentions this week. Naomi's entrance. I really liked it. It was different. It was almost like a throwback to her days as a Funkadactyl with Brodus Clay. So it was different, and I really liked it. That's my only honorable mention this week. Let's look at some pros and cons. Here we go. My only pro for this week is that SmackDown Live this week was a good what they call go home show for SummerSlam coming up this Sunday. Basically, what they call a go home show is their last show before a big pay-per-view. So it was a very, very good show for their go home show leading into SummerSlam this Sunday. My con for this week. Once again, honestly, if I do an end of the year award, she's going to have the award for most cons in a pros and cons segment. Eva Marie. And I mean, it really shouldn't come as a surprise anymore. Her spectacular debut didn't happen again. And at this point, you either gotta use her or let her go. It's gone on long enough. Either let her try to wrestle, which would probably be an epic failure, or get rid of her. I'm slightly starting to feel bad for this girl. Slightly. She is going to compete this Sunday, God help us, in a 6-woman tag team match. Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and Eva on one side, and Becky Lynch, Carmella, and Naomi on the other side. I told my buddy last night, I said, that's exactly how you had somebody who can't wrestle. You put them in a 6-man tag. We'll see how she does. At this point, use her or go home. That's the way it is. And that's going to do it for my top 5 moments from SmackDown Live this week. As always, let me know, did you think Team SmackDown won? Or did you think Team Raw won? Use the hashtag Team Raw, Team SmackDown in the comments below, and I will let you know who you thought won next week on my top 5 moments from Monday Night Raw. And do not forget that currently on Facebook and Twitter, I have a poll going asking you, who do you think will be the first ever Universal Champion? Will it be Finn Balor? Will it be Seth Rollins? Let me know on Facebook and Twitter. You can find them on my Facebook pages and my Twitter page. So, with that being said, let's get to the gameplay videos for WWE 2k17. Let's talk about them. The new gameplay videos for WWE 2k17 looked absolutely amazing. It showed the new backstage brawl and the new ladder match concepts, or the new ladder match animations, all that good stuff. And they also released somewhat close to possibly 30 more superstars for week 3. The 2 superstars to me, and all of them really stood out because the graphics this year look absolutely amazing. The ones that stood out to me, though, in the screenshots were Becky Lynch and Bubba Ray Dudley. Those screenshots were absolutely amazing. They looked lifelike. I mean, it was ridiculous how good they looked. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. The gameplay mechanics for the ladder matches, it was a triple threat match between AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins. You had the Money in the Bank briefcase above them. The ladder match was absolutely, it looked gorgeous. New taunt concept with Dean Ambrose. He taunted in the corner. Like I said, you can view all these videos on my YouTube channel. It's under the WWE 2k17 shared videos. Just find them and you won't be disappointed. There was a new taunt that Dean Ambrose did in the corner where he stomped his foot. So, from what they're saying, taunts are going to be a lot better this year. They actually have a purpose this year. They can help you out in a match this year. It showed the new rolling out concept where Seth Rollins took a lot of damage and was forced to roll out of the ring. There was new animations for ladders. There's a new mini game for a ladder. It showed him climbing up the ladder really quick, so it was no more of that slow. I mean, they still have the slow movement up the ladder, but this year it's not some of that slow. Why are you moving so slow up the ladder? If they have enough stamina, they're up that ladder in a heartbeat. It showed that. It absolutely looked great. The new mini game looks difficult as all get out, basically you have a circle and you have a little thing, another little circle with a hole in it, and you have to get your little circle inside that hole and touch another circle inside that hole 8 times. That is going to be difficult because it screws up when you have somebody on the ladder with you and they're constantly hitting you, trying to get you off the ladder. That's newer this year, is that it takes a couple of times for them to hit you to let go of the briefcase. So that's new this year, and that animation looks absolutely great. So that's going to be crazy. You also have another new button mashing animation for when you want to knock over the ladder with somebody on it. You have to press the O button if you're on PlayStation 4, and I'm assuming the B button if you're on Xbox One, a few times for your meter to fill up before you can knock it over. The electric chair drop animation is newer this year. I think the part where you can set up the ladder, you can actually this year set up the ladder between the barricade and the ring apron. I think that's an OMG moment for this year. I'm not quite sure on that one. But the overall concept for the ladder match looks great. The overall concept for the triple threat match looks great. Now to the backstage brawling match looks fantastic. The thing that stood out to me the most was the usable environment. You know, you can throw them against a wall. The thing I didn't like was that I don't know if it was a false count anywhere match. I don't know if that was the case or not. The pin. You can pin them backstage. The last few years a couple of years ago when they had the backstage brawl in 2K games, WWE 2K, it was by KO only. And that was the way it was forever, was knockout only. So maybe this was not a full-on backstage brawl. Maybe this was a false count anywhere, which that would be really cool too. You didn't get to see the crowd fighting or anything like that, but the thing that stood out to me, other than the environment being, you could use the environment, was the fact that you could throw them into different parts of the backstage area. Like, for example, Seth Rollins, I believe he was facing Cesaro. You could throw him into the locker room and it would go into a split screen. It would show your character and their character, or vice versa, whoever was in the locker room area, until you managed to merge both characters into the same area. So it would split screen into 2 environments. That was so cool to me. And also another another video that they showed in the backstage brawl was the fact that when you went into Triple H's office in the backstage area, you could go into his office, like GM office. It showed Triple H coming out of his office and you doing a stare down with him. That was a very, very cool moment. So overall, great gameplay videos between the two. You can check them out in my shared video section for WWE 2k17 on my channel. Just go find it. And you can also find a bunch of other videos for WWE 2k17, like the announcement of the NXT Special Edition and a bunch of other videos. So go check it out. That's going to do it for me for this top 5 moments from SmackDown Live. Coming up this weekend will be on Sunday will be my review of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2. So check that out. And then coming up next Monday will be my review of WWE SummerSlam, the hottest party of the summer. So check those out. My name is Brandon Duchair Craven. God bless you. I'll see you this weekend on the Rollin' Wrestler Review YouTube channel. God bless you. I'm out of here. See you later, everybody.